Okay, I'll be the first to admit it. I am super late on this one. My bad. But that won't stop me, so here is my review of CW's Arrow. Man, oh man, I swear everything is throwing me for a loop this year. American Horror Story Asylum didn't suck, and Arrow was surprisingly good. Now, I should preamble this by saying that I don't know what every other reviewer is saying about it, so I'm just gonna go out there and put it out there. This was good. I'm not gonna leave it at that. Let me explain. Arrow succeeded where the Cape utterly failed. For those of you who don't remember, The Cape was an NBC series that came out, I do believe, in 2009? I want to say, I'm not quite sure, somewhere after Heroes was taken off the air. Long story short, the issue with that show was the fact that they tried to cram in too much of the Cape's origin story and then like kind of excel the learning process where you don't see the Cape acquiring all this knowledge. Like, you do see him do it, but it's like so short and quick that it's like, no, you're not going to master all those skills in that amount of time. But with Arrow, the great thing about it is we skip all of that. We're at the point now where Oliver Queen is, you know, physically capable of doing all these things. So now the episode can just go straight into the mission. And it starts off very well, with him going directly into battle without any of the hoo-ha jibber-jabber of the origin story and all that. We kind of get a quick summary of it, and that's kind of all we need because, let's face it, we don't need an entire season of him being on the island. Not only that, the acting was great. The entire story really had me immersed in a guy who has been absent for 5 years. It's really, it really is interesting, just how the interplay between characters and just him kind of reasserting himself back into life, which I like the fact that there wasn't a learning curve for that. I like the fact that he just kind of came back and was like, yeah, everything's kind of foreign to me, but like he still had some people to ease his transition, so it wasn't kind of like this, what's going on, what? I really liked that a lot. The character of Oliver Queen is very relatable, very great, very much a man on a mission, very out of sorts, out of touch with, you know, what's been going on lately, but still kind of in touch, so to speak. I mean, he's only been gone for 5 years. That's not too much of a long time, but that is, you know, kind of a long time, so to speak. But, yeah, so I really like that he wasn't so out of touch where he was a foreigner, just out of touch enough as to not be around for certain milestones in people's lives, so to speak. There's this one great line that his sister has in there where she says, you know, you were dead, I went to your funeral. And again, that's something you gotta think about. He was dead, you know. Everybody had kind of moved on with their lives, and then here he comes back into their lives, and that's gotta be kind of like a reassessment of just the distribution in the family and just like what's going on with, you know, everybody else. How are they going to cope with this, having dealt so long without him, you know? And I really liked that. Humor-wise, I like the fact that his friend Merlin, Tom Merlin, and I'll get to that later, said, dude, she's the chick who looks like from Twilight. And then Oliver's like, what's Twilight? And he's like, oh yeah, you're better off not knowing. I thought that was hilarious. I literally laughed out loud at that point. That being said, the great thing about this series is that Oliver Queen isn't a stone-cold murderer. I mean, more or less he is, but at the same time, the way he's going at these big guys like Adam Hunt and whatnot is he's hitting them where it hurts financially. He's not kind of a, I'm going to beat you up until you do this. He's kind of like, okay, here's the warning, and if you don't do this, then, you know, it's going to get real. And I like that about him. I like the fact that he's just like, going straight into the mission, and that's what I really liked about this episode, is that you get pretty much everything that's going on right off the bat, and then it just kind of goes into it. There is no like sit down and waiting. 9 times out of 10 with pilot episodes of TV shows, they're kind of a touch and go, but this one was just pew, right to the action, and I liked that. Long story short, Arrow gets a thumbs up from me. Very good, very well done. Will I be watching it? Actually, Actually, I will not be. You see, this is kind of one of those shows that I can take or leave, and I don't think personally I'm quite ready for another TV show yet. But if you're watching it, hey, that's great. It looks great. It looks good. And the twist at the end really threw me for a loop. I'm kind of interested into where that's going, but we'll see. So that will do it for this episode of the TV Roundup for the CW. I am really looking forward to Cult. I hope that does not let me down. So far, if Arrow is the shining example of the CW's new shows, then I'm really eager to see how Cult turns out. I hope that turns out great. Anyway, that will do it for me. You guys leave your comments below, and I will probably read them, probably not, because I hate you all. I'm just kidding. And stick around for my Halloween special. You guys are really going to enjoy that, and I will see you all later. Peace.